You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
Well, yeah, it's good. It's Moffat does Dracula.
Let me guess. He's got a really cool take, and then he 100% can't follow through on it.
I mean, I said it was Moffat.
Oh.
Okay, me. My turn. Oh,
there you go.
Don't hog it. Come on.
That's really good.
Guys, what are you doing? What's
you know
going
what?
on?
I don't care. Give me some. My turn.
What the fuck? No, I was next. I was in the line. And
Fucking hey, man.
there is plenty. That's true. There is an awful lot of it, I noticed.
Guys, drugs in the studio. Come on. We talked about this. This was on the board.
No. It's research, Cecil. Plus, Eli has a super great Jenkem hookup. This is good stuff.
Jenkem?
I do.
Really, Jenkem?
Yeah, it's this street drug made a yoo-hoo and beer vapor, I think. Fucks you up.
Oh, nice, man. I love
So
Jenkem.
You guys haven't read Eli's essay on this yet, have you?
No. Why?
No, I've never read one of these essays. Wait, was there essays?
Because
I don't read Eli's.
Jenkem isn't yoo-hoo and beer flavor.
Oh, well, what is it then?
Well, it's poop. It's poop.
What?
Guys.
What is it?
What?
What'd you say?
You guys
Did
are
say it was-
breathing. You're breathing Eli's fermented poop. That's what you're breathing.
I've done worse shit to get high.
And you know what? This explains the blood.
Because it's mine.
Because it's yours, yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Citation Needed. Now, normally I would say that this is the podcast, or we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, pretend we're experts because it's the internet, that's how it works out. But today, Eli wrote something, and I have no idea or desire to understand his method or what dark corners of the web he frequents. But today, dear listener, Eli is going to lead us down another internet rabbit hole and teach us about skepticism.
A couple other holes, too.
This will take a miracle. Now, to introduce the panel, three guys that don't believe in miracles, Noah, Tom, and Heath. Okay.
Dude, I'm such a skeptic. I have my doubts about that mayonnaise substitute.
I don't even believe that's not butter. What?
I can't. Well, I do believe in miracles, Cecil, since you came along.
Hey,
You
Heath,
sexy thing.
Heath, lock eyes with me. You don't
I
need a
am.
miracle. You just need a tiny bit of game. That's all you need. Just a tiny bit.
Okay.
So a miracle
stuff
for
with you.
Apparently I don't have the game for it.
Also joining us tonight, a man who spends a lot of time on Snopes' mostly false section, Eli Bosnick.
Hey, Cecil, lots of people have their own page on Wikipedia. I've got my own page on Snopes. Who's the...
No, you don't. Dear listeners, if you love the high quality of the show we put out, please go to the back catalog and listen to one of them. And if you liked one of those, please give us money. And if you'd like to learn how to do that, listen to one of those shows. And with that out of the way, tell us, Noah, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Okay, real quick prediction. This will be the least new patron episode we ever do.
It'll probably be tied with all
Prove
the
me
other
wrong.
episodes.
Prove me wrong.
And why, you may ask, and that's because we're going to be talking about poop huffing. Cecil.
God.
Or, as the title of the essay puts it, Jenkem.
Oh,
Nope.
great. And Eli, You're mostly gas and full of shit. And this has never been more apropos. Are you ready to say words?
Let's hope I don't blow it, Cecil.
So, Eli, tell us, what the fuck is Jenkem?
It's a Zambian street jug that in the year of our Lord 2007 swept the United States, caused a national outcry, and in the end, transformed the very laws of our nation itself.
Okay, but what is
Mostly none of the things you just said.
Jenkem? Also, none of those
It's
things are true.
pooping in a jar and breathing it in to get high, Cecil. That's what
damn
it is.
This here, Eli, is why we don't let you do essays.
Well, partly because his essays are about stuff like huffing poop fumes, but also because his essays are like huffing poop fumes.
Yeah, you get the experience no matter what. This one's kind of an Ouroboros.
Very true.
All right, now-
on to the lying.
Okay, now I want to say at the outset that this story has a necessary but super duper not funny origin story. But listener, stick with me because this gets so goddamn fantastic. It will be worth the tragedy, I promise you.
It will be worth the tragedy is my very favorite pickup line. It's
Okay, Eli, let's hear the origin story. I mean, how dark a place can sniffing your own poop come from anyway?
Orphans of the Zambian AIDS crisis, Cecil.
What?
Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, bear with me. But first, a little background on AIDS.
again
Really?
an excellent pickup line. It works. It's a conversation starter.
This is great.
Just gets you right in there.
This is great. This is comedy gold, Eli. Let's hear your tight 5 on AIDS history.
So, the origin of HIV/AIDS was in all likelihood SIV, simian immunodeficiency virus, more commonly known as monkey AIDS. Fun fact,
No, it's
lots of animals
knows it that
have
way?
some form of AIDS.
Yes, super fun. Can you list some, maybe? This sounds like a fun
I
list.
can. Keith, there's feline AIDS, even birds AIDS.
Oh, great.
It's not strictly a human-monkey thing.
That was fun.
Yeah, so at the turn of the 20th century, European colonists brought 2 things to Africa. The first was guns. The guns were used to steal African land, establish apartheid states all across the continent, and generally do bad white people stuff. Now, because of the land stealing bits, more and more native populations relied on bushmeat rather than traditional
Caliente.
agriculture to survive. Monkeys, chimps, and even apes are a necessary food source when you've been kicked off your farmable land. And this bushmeat is probably where the first SIV to human contact took place. In fact, the common myth that like a dude fucked a monkey actually has its origins in racist propaganda at the start of the AIDS crisis.
I don't want to argue with your math here, Eli, but I'm pretty sure it was homophobic propaganda that started that. Maybe it was a combination.
Yeah, everyone knows you have to cook them right to cook out all the fucking monkey AIDS. You know, I suggest you blanch and then shock the monkey.
That's a great joke.
The Peter Gabriel cookbook, everybody.
There we go. Yeah.
Wow.
Ironically enough, SIV, or as it would become known when it's fully mutated.
I feel like that one, you're going to love my Toto joke.
You got the monkey and you just strain it out and then you put it in the ice water and it shocks the monkey. It's perfect.
Get great color on
Now-
him after that.
Now, ironically enough, SIV, or as it would become known when it fully mutated to pass from human to human, HIV, wouldn't have been nearly as common if it wasn't for the second thing Europeans brought with them, needles.
Yeah, that propaganda about people doing heroin with monkeys was weird. That was a weird angle at it that they took.
No, Heath, I think Needles was the name of the monkey. I'm not sure. I don't know where we're at.
All right.
I'm coming.
Tucker Carlson's going to listen to this. It's going to be on the show next week.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
see that propaganda poster of some dude just shooting up with a fucking monkey in a crack house.
Just never in big bold letters underneath it. So
Monkey
it wasn't until the
junkie.
1950s and beyond. See, it wasn't until the 1950s and beyond, when European Western antibiotics were brought to the African continent, that HIV truly began to spread in earnest. Hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of Africans were injected with everything from early vaccinations to the cure for sleeping sickness with the same, very often unwashed and reused needles. So, let that be a lesson to us all. At least when white people show up to murder you, they're being honest. Over the next 40 years, HIV went from the social equivalent of one of those diseases you see on House to, AIDS. And one of the places where the outbreak was the worst was Zambia. So, for example, between 1985 and 1995, the number of infected went from just over 36,000 infected to almost 700,000. And
Terrifying.
as any baby koala in Australia right now could tell you, an epidemic of that size results in a fuck ton of orphans.
Well, thank you for an analogy that made that even more fucking depressing, Eli. And I want to underscore the point here by mentioning that the Zambian population was just over 7 million at the time. So, do the math. 1 in 10 Zambians had AIDS at that point. Just
Fuck,
about.
God damn.
Yeah. Look to your left, look to your right. Don't fuck any of the people you're looking at. Don't.
That's terrifying. Now, by 1995, Zambia wasn't just experiencing an epidemic. It was also war-torn and literally one of the poorest and most desperate countries on earth. It was so poor that even their orphans had it bad for orphans.
Yes. Orphans in Angola doing commercials with Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. Trying to help out Zambia. Sad.
Yeah, those Angolan orphans just looking around at what they have to donate. They're like, I'm not using these needles anymore.
Jesus Christ.
And what do you do when Dickensian orphans look at your life and go, Jesus fucking Christ, at least I got the first serving of gruel? Well, you look for any escape. And most of the time, that escape comes in the form of getting high. But again, these aren't the highfalutin drug users of Heath and I's hometown with their fancy methamphetamine and glue sniffing. No, the orphans of Zambia had to get high on the one and only thing they had plenty of. Human shit.
You probably can't produce enough on your own to do the trick, so this might be one of those instances where you have to get high with a little help from your friends. I think
All right, this, dear listeners, I just want to point out, this is the point at which you should put a great big fucking asterisk in your mind to remember that Eli sourced the rest of his essay from Yik Yak Spark Notes. So
Eli is the worst thing that ever happened to Yik Yak's credibility, right?
Well, let's not just go crazy.
Eli has an asterisk next to his name in Yik Yak. There's an
Yik Yak wrote the Snopes article about Eli and submitted it. Yeah.
So yeah, according to BBC, that famous fake news source, Zambian teens would put shit and other refuse into bottles and other containers, let the methane build up at the top, and then shoot that shit like a popper. According to an anesthesiologist who would later be interviewed about the effects of Jenkem by Salon magazine, quote, the inhalation of gases like those produced from Jenkem could result in hypoxia, a lack of oxygen flow to the body that could be alternately euphoric and physically dangerous, end quote. And as one boy told the BBC in 1999, quote, with glue, I just hear voices in my head, but with Jenkem, I see visions. I see my mother who is dead, and I forget about the problems in my life, end quote.
Okay. It just feels like meeting your dead mom on the ethereal plane and you're holding a bottle of shit that's been fermented. That's a whole new problem in your life. Hey, Mom, great to see you. What? No.
Also, it feels like the bottle and all that stuff feels superfluous. Just use a Porta-John in 100 degrees. You're going to see your ancestors, guaranteed.
So in Zambia, apparently, this was a real problem.
Maybe not
in
real.
2002, the Project Concern International Zambia and Fountain of Hope released a report called Rapid Assessment of Street Children in Lusaka. And Jenkem was listed as the third most popular drug among Zambian street children.
Which means, if this is correct, these kids were passing up on at least 2 options before they got here. That's 2 more essays that Eli's got in the bag, yo.
Thank you. That's correct.
no.
Now, I'm happy to say that Jenkem's use in Zambia has decreased tremendously over the past couple of decades. However, a combination of the
Well, I could say it
reporting...
never existed.
One could, to the BBC. That's who you could say it to.
Enemy of the people, Eli.
However, a combination of the reporting on it at the time and good old American boredom would inspire one young teenage Heath and cause a generation of boomers to lose their goddamn minds.
Well, We started to hit the real part of the story Eli is dying to get to, the additional lying. So let's take a quick break for a little apropos of nothing.
Oi, man, you Tony?
Yeah. You got the stuff?
You got the money?
Yeah. Right here, 5 large. Now let's see the stuff.
All right.
Oh, what are you doing?
What? I'm giving you the product.
Not out in the open. Slide it into my hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
This product gets cut. Look at all this blood in here.
No, I just had Chipotle for lunch, mate. It's fine.
Whatever, I cannot use this. I can't move this.
All right. Quiet. Double the product.
This is not right.
There, okay?
I guess.
This is the worst sketch we've ever done.
Yeah, it is actually. I quit the show. I just quit. I just stopped.
That's fair.
I'm done.
I understand it.
Hey everyone, remember that back catalog I was talking about? Well, too fucking late now. We're all in this shit together. So Eli, tell us what the fuck happened next to these African children.
Nothing, Cecil. From this point on, nothing but dumb Americans getting what they deserve. I promise.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. The year was 2007 and the internet sucked. YouTube was only 2 years old, so you still had to click a link in an email to see a decent cat video. But there were chat boards, Cecil. Chat boards as far as the eye could see. And where there are chat boards, there are idiots.
Can confirm.
One such congregating place for idiots was a forum known as Tootsie. Tootsie hosted everything from copies of the Anarchist Cookbook to early reptilians' conspiracy theories.
Hey. David Icke's The Biggest Secret came out 8 years before that. These are middle to late reptilian conspiracy theories. Okay?
I stand corrected. And on June 6th, 2007, user Pickwick posted the following quote. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to become the first Tootsie member, maybe the first above the poverty line, to try Jenkem. I'm excited and anxious at the same time. It sounds kind of gross. I'll be using my own shit. If anyone has tried it before or knows any tips to do it, that would be appreciated. End quote.
Dear Pickwick, I got a tip for you. Tried it as a suppository, but didn't really feel anything. Felt kind of counterproductive. Inhaling is the move. Love, Zambian orphan who posts on internet
So this post was accompanied by half a dozen pictures of Pickwick's Jenkem setup and preparation, and in later posts, him using the drug. Here's how Pickwick described the effects of the drug. Quote, well, today I finally did it. I became probably the first person in America to huff his own shit gas.
Jesus.
No video, though. Sorry, no camera. I hope you're not too disappointed. I could get pictures, though, and I wrote a trip report.
I thought you didn't have a camera.
A
Very
trip
disappointed.
report? What was this, assignment from Stool? What the fuck are you talking about?
See, back when shit posting really meant something.
He continued, today, the bubbles had mostly stopped. The balloon had possibly grown a little bit since last time, but it was oblong from days in the sun, or maybe the gases inside, so it was hard to tell. The shit in the bottle was very settled and did not look like shit anymore, even. I first lightly shook the bottle to make sure all the bubbles had popped.
Yeah, don't waste it. That's hard to come by. You don't want to waste the gas in the bubble areas.
I then pinched off the balloon and took it off from the top. I held that while I huffed from the bobble. After exhaling all air from my lungs.
How did somebody not write a pinch joke there? No, everybody just scanned past pinch. How did this happen?
Fuck!
God.
I held that while I huffed from the bottle. After exhaling all the air from my lungs, I took my straw and inhaled from the inside of the bottle. The flavor of shit struck me. It stuck to the tongue like the flavor after smoking a cigar.
Pro tip, stop getting your cigars from Bill Clinton, dude.
My body wanted me to stop breathing it, but I kept going by putting the end of the straw further back in my mouth behind my tongue. I took some more breaths of that and waited a few seconds, then inhaled the balloon. The balloon was less harsh. I could barely taste any of it, and it felt like breathing oxygen.
What
is
happening? What? Goddamn homebrewing recipes are boring as shit. Oh,
That's amazing that he thought moving the straw was like a good strategy. He's like, all right, but I put it on the umami part instead of the bitter part. Jesus Christ.
After breathing it in, I immediately felt that I was passing out. I did not even have time to spit before I became unconscious. When I woke up, my spittle had oozed out of my mouth and down my chin. I asked my friend how long I was out for. He said for about a minute, and that he had repeatedly tried to wake me, but I would not wake up. During this short conversation, I began to feel light dissociative effects come over me, accompanied by buzzing in my ears. Feeling got stronger and stronger until I felt like I was in a dream.
Really?
This was somewhat enjoyable. It made me feel like nothing really mattered. The apathy actually made the rest of the trip more enjoyable.
Oh, good. Because, if you're worried about too much enthusiasm during your shit trip, don't. You can stop. There's plenty of apathy, apparently. Good. What?
Yeah, you gotta pause a moment and think about the place you're in your life when you're huffing poo and thinking, now I don't care about my life.
It's like I'm in a dream about tasting poo. What is happening in this person's life?
After I was fully into the dreamlike state, visual hallucinations began to start.
Repetition.
I had fleeting visions of people who seemed completely random, like my second grade teacher. I would say something to the person, then he or she would disappear. Normally, I would be fearful of trips like this, but the dream feeling made it almost fun. Hearing was dull during the trip. I could only hear what I was saying and some random noises like screeching and car noises. After the effects wore off, my friend told me I was mostly talking in gibberish, so I guess I couldn't hear my own voice or anything in the outside world throughout the trip. At the peak of the trip, I saw things like pillars in my lawn that disappeared and shapes in the sky. My sense of time was slowed, so the whole trip felt like it was shorter than it was. The come down was mostly auditory hallucinations, like voices and loud cracks. The dreamlike feeling lessened, and I drifted back into reality. Thank you. I was so disappointed no one wrote a note in there. In the last parts of the trip, I became paranoid from the noises because it felt real instead of like a dream. I asked my friend how long it had been. He said it had been 40 minutes. He also told me that I spent long periods of time staring at different spots. I also, according to him, spoke slurred words to trees and rocks. I was very surprised by how messed up the Jenkem got me. That was higher than I have ever been. Other drugs distort reality, but Jenkem really distorts reality. I was almost completely unaware of my surroundings. My friend said that seeing me was scary, and he was thinking of getting an adult. Thank God he didn't do that.
I really want him to get an adult, just like some boomer dad trying to reverse this thing. He sees his son. He's like, huff my shinola polish. I don't know. I've heard that's like the opposite or something. I don't want it. Can you tell these apart? I don't know. That's a saying from old timey dad times. I don't know what to do.
It's a different dad who takes a totally different approach. He just takes the cover off the septic system, makes his kid huff the whole goddamn thing. I hope you learned a lesson here. I hope you learned a lesson.
Pickwick concludes, in conclusion, was it enjoyable? No, not really. Would I do it again? Definitely not. Would I recommend another person to try it? I wouldn't to anyone who I am close to.
Yeah, would you recommend I huff my own poop fumes? Is one of them questions you only get to answer if you ask yourself, right?
If you are very adventurous and would try anything, then I guess you should try Jenkem.
That would fall under the anything category.
Well, yeah, no, that's true.
But know that the preparation is not made worthwhile by the trip and post.
Somehow depriving your brain of oxygen with shit and methane gives you like a 40-minute vision quest, but doing it with pressurized whipped cream is like a minute. I'll take the whipped cream, thanks.
Right?
Get the fuck out of here.
I'll get 40 whipped creams. Yeah.
I like that he would have recommend this to someone you're close to, but like, I don't know if the fucking cashier at Walmart asks you about it. You're like, yeah, go ahead and huff the stink bottle, stupid.
What is your return policy on whipped cream?
Now, I'm a good skeptic, and I'm dedicated to the truth. So I should say that after this went public, Pickwick claimed that it was entirely a hoax, saying, quote, Yes, I faked it. The poop was really flour and water dough rolled in Nutella. The piss was beer and water. The pictures of it after it fermented were of a completely new bottle. I never inhaled any poop gas and got high off it. I have deleted the pictures. Hopefully no weirdo saved them to his computer.
Everybody saved those.
100%
I just don't want people to ever recognize me as the kid who huffed poop gas. End quote. So, as we will learn, 2 days and a lot more press coverage after that first post, Pickwick posted again saying, quote, some kid at my school found it and now he's telling a bunch of people. If my parents find out, they'll kill me. Please, you guys, I'm going to be known as that shit huffer. Come on. Just delete the pictures so they won't be able to prove anything. End post. Unrelated, but the young Pickwick in the pictures, which are still all over the internet, by the way, has bright red hair and looks like he'll grow up to be very, very tall.
No, we're not getting into this. No,
Interesting.
No, it's not. Damn it.
Hashtag
What?
Keith is Pickwick.
Okay. See,
Also,
okay.
check out my new website, keithispickwick.com.
I got it. You've made your point,
This
Cecil.
is fun, isn't it,
No.
Heath? Guys, you guys should make a website about this. Anybody who's listening who has
Moving
web
on.
skills
The
should
moment
make...
you said, check out I bought the domain name. So, whether or not Heath breathed his own poop, he did. The forum went crazy for it. So crazy that some users over on 4chan decided it would be a hilarious prank to try to convince law enforcement and local schools that Jenkem was a dangerous and popular new drug among American teens.
Yeah, because, tricking the police into what the kids are doing. They actually call that the fish in a barrel challenge.
Right.
This part of the story is amazing. Like, everything's been pretty much a lie, but this part is fantastic and true. That's
is a
about to
good
start
lie.
now.
This is a good lie,
excellent.
yeah.
A lie. This is definitely a lie. A beautiful, beautiful lie. This is the copy-paste 4chan users sent to schools and police departments across the country.
This is fantastic.
Quote, and I'm going to do it in the voice I imagine it in. I am writing to you anonymously because I do not want to get my child in any trouble. But I need to alert you to something your students are doing that is potentially very dangerous. Yesterday afternoon, I came home early to find my son and his friends getting high on something called Jenkem, which they said they heard about at school. This Jenkem is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard of. They urinate and defecate in plastic bottles and leave them to ferment in the sun, then inhale the resulting gas. I know it sounds unreal, but when I came home, I found my son and his friends laying on the grass in the backyard, and they were acting very strangely. There was a horrible, putrid smell in the air. I can't believe my son would do something like this. I looked it up on the internet, and apparently this was something invented by African children that wound up online, and now kids all over the world are doing it. My son says most of his friends at school have tried it. And copy paste.
Still better than anything Betsy DeVos has done for the education system.
Well,
guys. I mean,
yeah,
really, yeah.
What do they think the police were going to do in this situation? Like, stop all the kids from taking a shit? What is the intervention here?
Support charter schools like Betsy DeVos.
Did you say
I
charter
said
schools?
charter schools.
That's amazing.
It concludes, this seems to be a new thing, and I can't find any information about the health effects of Jenkem. I think it's the methane and the ammonia content that provides the desired high, but I don't really know. Both of those are very harmful chemicals. All sorts of diseases are spread through fecal matter. I imagine it could lead to some very serious health problems at your school. My wife and I are utterly shocked and talked about private school.
Well, because rich kids won't poop? Like, why would that solve anything?
No, they have the good shit, man. They hire Mexican kids to shit for them and bring cocaine to school.
Yeah, absolutely. Artisanal shit. You got people from all over the place. Then there's the guy who just keeps calling his shit lemonade, and you're like, it doesn't smell like lemons, man. It's fine shit, but stop with the lemon branding. We have spoken to our son about this, and he says he won't do it anymore. But because it's on the internet, kids all over the country are trying Jenkem, and they need to be educated about the health risks. It's only a matter of time before somebody dies from methane poisoning, or this leads to a hepatitis outbreak. I don't know exactly what you could do about this, as Jenkem is legal, but I need to inform you of what some of your students are doing. End quote. you'd think nobody would buy this, right?
No,
They'd
you
send
wouldn't.
it to a couple of people.
I've met humans. I wouldn't think that for a goddamn second.
An anonymous email. We should act immediately.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, on September 19th of 2007, the Collier County Sheriff's Office released the following official bulletin. Quote, again, I will do this in the voice that I hear it in. On 9/17/2007, Corporal Tesaro received an email from a concerned parent regarding a new drug called Jenkem. The parent advised their child learned about this drug through various conversations with several students at Palmetto Ridge High. Jenkem originated in Africa and other third world countries by fermenting raw sewage to create a gas, which is inhaled to achieve a high. Jenkem is now a popular drug in American schools, end quote. So, interesting side note, the thing about third world countries appears to be made up entirely by this police department.
Africa, other shithole countries, socialized medicine, Barack Hussein Obama. What the fuck was I talking about? This is serious.
Continuing the police bulletin, quote, Jenkem is a homemade substance which consists of fecal matter and urine.
It's like True TV's lineup, but in a bottle.
The fecal matter and urine are placed in a bottle or jar and covered, most commonly with a balloon. The container is then placed in a sunny area for several hours or days until fermented. The contents of that container will separate and release a gas, which is captured in the balloon. Inhaling the gas is said to have a euphoric high, similar to ingesting cocaine, but with the strong hallucinations of times past. End quote. Again, this appears to be entirely a creation of this police department.
Barack Hussein Obama, I'm continuing my list. Cocaine, time travel. What? I got lost again naming things I don't like. What? Time travel? Did I say time travel?
Now, it's at least possible, though, that someone at this police department told the rookie that somebody needed to try this new drug so they could describe the effects in the bulletin. So in my head, that's how this shit went down, okay?
Oh, literally, in this case.
Absolutely no. They needed a pinch shitter. That's what they need. A pinch shitter.
By the way, if you are not picturing the take the crack pipe scene from Training Day, but with Denzel Washington shitting into a plastic soda bottle, you are not the woman I know and love.
Eli, I am always picturing Denzel Washington.
Oh my God.
Shitting into a
plastic soda bottle. I literally can't stop myself.
There you go. That's why it's called the Book of Eli. And continuing, one last time, quote, once ingested, the onset of the high takes approximately 10 seconds, with the most severe hallucinations happening in approximately 20 minutes. Several articles indicate that the subject immediately passes out after ingesting the gas, then regains a magical hallucinogenic state within seconds of regaining consciousness. Again, none of this. This is all made up by that. Has been described by the subject as a feeling of being out of it and talking to dead people. The feeling of being out of it may last for several hours or days. All subjects who use Jenkem dislike the taste of sewage in their mouth. Of course. And the fact that the taste continues for several days. End quote.
Come on, there wasn't one hipster that tried to convince everyone that it was an acquired taste. And it had like notes of the earth in it. Come on, get the fuck
what are you guys
outta
talking
here.
about?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that line was supposed to convey, like a sense of reassurance, like, well, it'll taste bad for them. They won't.
And the bulletin concludes, and this is the most beautiful and perfect thing in the universe, with a list of slang terms that this police department made up for Jenkem, is what I must assume.
The first one is my favorite. It's the best.
They include Winnie,
Amazing. Amazing.
runners,
yeah.
fruit from the crack pipe.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
My favorite, Leroy Jenkem.
That's fantastic.
Leroy Jenken's pretty good.
Bad Leroy Jenkem. That's good.
Might, hot hash, and waste.
My favorite, though, slang came from Harry Potter. Neville Longbottom of House Wyffendor. That's my favorite.
Yep, absolutely. And again, just to be clear, from what I can tell, those nicknames were created by the police department. And that's why I had to begin this essay the way I did, because I wanted you,
With a lie.
I needed you to understand that in all likelihood, these cops somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Florida, got the email I read to you moments ago, read the BBC article I quoted about Zambian orphans scooping shit into bottles for a moment's respite from their lives of torment, and thought to themselves, American teens are going to go nuts for this shit.
You can get a can of whipped cream, model glue, or whiteout for under $5. They thought kids were going to somehow funnel shit into a Dasani bottle. Come on, man. That takes a lot of work.
I mean, to be fair, you could steal all those things for free.
True.
That's even cheaper.
All right, but let's be clear here. We're talking about that age of people that would later eat Tide Pods on purpose. Are we really going to say, no, they wouldn't.
These are solid. That's a solid counterpoint.
Maybe that dad was like, all right, we're washing your mouth out with Tide Pods. That started.
So I know what you're thinking to yourself. All right, one police department. Surely none of the larger American media fell for it. You would be incorrect. This release was followed by investigative reports on KIMT of Mason City, Iowa, WIFR-TV in Rockford, Illinois, WINK News in Fort Myers, Florida, and the Washington Post.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
Now, sadly, some might say tragically, the Washington Post article has since been taken down. No idea why. But we do know that it was called, quote, Jenkem Madness? Reports of a nasty drug in Florida.
I want to see the PSA that happened right after this so bad. I don't remember it. This was like the 90s. That should have been on TV. A dad like walks into the camera frame, just shits in his hand. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? And then his kid just like stomps out past him. I learned it by watching you. Whatever. Wow.
Then that other one where like G.I. Joe just comes out of the toilet holding a water bottle and delivering a stern lecture about poop sniffing and downed power lines. It's just
Knowing is half the battle.
Another thing about that lost and forgotten Washington Post article, according to Wikipedia, quote, columnist Emil Steiner reported that a spokesman for the Drug Enforcement Agency insists that there are people in America trying Jenkem, which the DEA agent categorized as dangerous, bad, and stupid, end quote from Wikipedia. Fox News ran a story about Jenkem, though uncharacteristically, they mentioned both Pickwick and the probable hoax. However, in that Fox News article, when asked about how the DEA would go about controlling such a substance, a Washington DEA spokesman specified that, quote, real quote from a real person who worked at a real government agency, we wouldn't classify it as a drug so much because it's feces and urine, end quote, of full-grown adult looking at other full-grown adults. Later that month, the same DEA spokesman, he had a month of these questions. That same guy told ABC News in an interview, it's in Africa. We know that. We've heard rumors and speculation about it here, but part of looking for trends is listening first for speculation. End quote.
I love in that they know it's in Africa, despite there being virtually no evidence with other than one dubious BBC article. But, you know, those guys from that crazy country of Africa.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite quotes comes from the Enterprise Ledger of Enterprise, Alabama, where Coffee County Sheriff's Department narcotics investigator Neil Bradley said, quote, whatever they're using on the West Coast is also used in Coffee County. We've heard about this with something students were doing, and it sounds crazy, but don't think they're not doing it here. Drugs that people think aren't in our county really are. I've heard some things, and I'm sure it's out there.
He heard some whisperings about shit huffing, and he sat on it, and he was like, oh, we'll see where this goes.
He concludes, we just haven't made any arrests on it yet. End quote. Perhaps my favorite piece of hysteria to come from the Jenkem hoax was the advice distributed by a little TV station known as WSBT-TV in South Bend, Indiana, which advised parents to, quote, wait up for your children at night and not let your children go to bed until they have seen them and smelled their breath. End quote.
What? All right, son, it's drug test time. Shit in this cup right now. Oh, you did? You have a cup of shit. You have it ready?
Has anybody ever smelled a teenage boy's breath? I'm just saying, like, this test has no control group. It's all shit.
I think it's fantastic that Mayor Pete very likely had this test done to him because of this broadcast in South Bend, Indiana.
Little postscript here. In 2009, 2 full years after Heath Enright first posted pictures of him sucking on his own sweet, sweet shit fumes, Bettendorf, Iowa amended its city ordinance regarding illegal inhalants to include organic substances. The reason, according to the Quad City Times, was, quote, the city decided to add organic to the law because they've heard of people huffing something known as Jenkem.
Oh, my God.
Oh, great. And if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence or didn't learn, what would it be?
This shit is bananas. No, it's always important to have a dealer who can get you good shit.
Okay. That's terrible. Are you ready for the quiz there?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, great.
All right. I got a good one for you, Eli. What do you call people who get burned out on Jenkem? A, the Dung and the Restless. B, the Defecation Nation.
That's a good tale. Like
C, group number 2. Or D, Shit Tits.
Got it. First answer, best answer, Dung and the Restless.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Eli. To make Jenkem in Africa, it can take the poop of 100 men or more, but only one toilet seat will ever do. Which one? A, Toto.
I smelt the stain down in Africa.
Yeah. I'm going to go with A, Toto. A, Toto.
All right. I'm assuming that was correct.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
It was the only answer. And got one more for you, Eli. Which of the following is the best street name for Jenkem that the cops forgot to make up for their report?
I wrote this essay for this moment.
Is it A, Dumpelstiltskin? B, Chitrous Oxide?
Phenomenal.
C, Dookie Howser MD? D, Hippie Ass Crack? Or E, Reese's Feces?
There it is. E, Reese's Feces. Phenomenal.
Fills up 2 cups. That's amazing. You only need one.
God, they're all brown. Why is that? Why are they all brown? I don't get it.
It was actually Dookie Howser MD, but you were close.
Oh, so close. But Heath is the winner.
Excellent. Next week, I would like an essay with, an informational base from Noah.
Yeah, hey, Tom, you bitching about the Etruscans now? Come on, man.
Okay.
This could have been the Etruscans.
Okay.
Sweet Etruscan love right now.
All right.
Scared of the truth.
Well, for Tom, Noah, Eli, and Heath, I'm Cecil. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. If you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. That super matters. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check out our other side projects. You can go to citationpod.com.
Tony, the cops are here.
Say hello to my little friend.